Good evening to all the patrons to the Independent Investor Channel live stream. My name is Ryan. Love to welcome everybody into the group. The community is robust. We are feeling saucy as I am just coming off of a nice 4-day vacation. The Shenandoah Valley is beautiful. That John Denver man, he says it like it is. It's very peaceful out there. It's very nice. Had a great time with the family, and I always come back recharged. Now, it only takes me a day, I guess, to get into the vacation routine, and then it takes me a couple of days to, kind of chill out a little bit. Um, but a couple days, and then I'm good to go and ready to get back on the bandwagon. You can't stay on vacation inevitably. For me, vacation is right there at the top of the pyramid. So for you guys that are part of the group, I shared actually with my Viper group um, my pyramid. I built this for you guys for reference. I had a scratch pad and I just showed you guys last time what the pyramid was, and you can kind of look at this and you can study it for a while, and you can really start to generate a lot of questions for yourself on how I approach life. And as a life coach, I would expect that a lot of those different pillars in your pyramid for success are extremely important. They are the primary means of your focus, and they are where you live most of the time. Okay. Now, everybody's going to be different. And I intend on sharing a blank one. Actually, I've got the template built. I've just built this within Canva, which is my suite of offering that I use for all of my thumbnails on YouTube. And I don't mind sharing that. It's interesting enough. If you looked at that on the onset, you'd say, "Wow, that's a colorful triangle." But it is actually aimed at invoking some thought, and it is going to be the focal point of discussion tonight. I felt like a couple of weeks ago, I did not do it fair justice in explaining, that there's 16 elements, and the idea is meeting your basic needs on the bottom line, most of those being sunken costs, and we'll talk about which ones those are for me. And as you move up the pyramid, and you're not going to build this pyramid overnight. You're not going to build it over the course of weeks or months, even. This is a lifetime progression. And the beauty of the whole thing is that nobody's pyramid is perfect. Nobody. You'll live and you'll exit this life having focused in on those things that are important. And as a life coach and an influencer, it's amazing to me. I talk to a lot of people who actually have segments of their pyramid put together, and they find it all too convenient to continually complain and stress out about the things that are going on in life, and it detracts from other things. And I think I speak about perspective all the time, and I think it's something that I need to heed, as well as everybody who's looking to fine tune and not be hodgepodge all over the map and try to take care of a zillion things out there. Rather, try to identify those things in certain categories. Now, these are broad categories. They're specific enough to really categorize and be that top of the iceberg type of perspective. And when you talk about health, you can go on. When you talk about security, right, which is part of the pillars in the portfolio. But as we kind of look and we work across the bottom here, you can see here that it's 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1. 16 total applications here. And just so you guys are kind of, I don't know if you can see the icon, but we've got transportation, food, water. Um, this one here is security, right? And then we have fuel, clothing, home, insurance, and credit card. This one was kind of confusing. I was trying to find a good insurance icon, but I felt the hands over the top of the home and the auto kind of spoke to the insurance piece, and then the credit card, as well as job. This here is a hodgepodge of food, actually. So diet on this side and exercise on either end of your financial health and well-being, which is what we talk about all the time on the I2. A family dynamic, made up in many different capacities in your life, and health, and then spiritual actualization. Of course, a lot of you guys that are familiar with Maslow's know that this is a rendition of that. And the fun part of the exercise is that each and every one of you guys can actually do that. And why do you do this? A lot of people want to jump right to the financial. Well, that's tier three on my list. And I think a lot of people need to work on their fitness. And I talk about this all the time with regard to working on their eligibility to enter into the markets. Anybody can start a Robinhood account within 5 minutes. Okay. And a lot of people think that that automatically gives them that eligibility to enter into financial markets. I think it would be much more productive if you could look at getting some of the things that surround your financial opportunity first. I really do. I think finding that dynamic, because if you're worried about transportation, or you're worried about a job, you're in between jobs, you're worried about your physical and your security. If your life is all over the place and disorganized, I can tell you one of those many things that I got together was my organization, and I'm going to talk about it as it applies to my actual security category. It's interesting enough. I mean, I just within the last couple of years bought some fireproof document holders, and also a safe, a good safe, one that can actually safeguard a lot of valuables, things like that. Step in the right direction for security under that umbrella. Now, some other things that I obviously will not talk about over YouTube, I would absolutely engage in a discussion in private, are some of those things that are a little bit more controversial. Okay, on one side or the other, it has to do with arms. Okay, with regard to providing security, let me just say it this way: you don't want to break into my house. Okay, that would be a very, very bad idea. I'm not going to break into yours. In all fairness, you're not going to break into mine. And I've taken steps in that end, because I've worked very, very hard for what I have. And it speaks to my insistence on one of my 16 categories being security, to provide that for myself, my family, and all that we own. Okay, it's important. We don't work hard just to give it away to the whims of somebody who doesn't want to work hard and just take it, right? But those pieces of your life that all too often get jumped around, right? Where people want to jump right up to health. Okay. And I tell you what, when I was younger and I was throwing fate to the wind, it was one of those things that was out the freaking window for me. Transportation really wasn't that important. I mean, my own, I didn't have insurance. I had credit, but I abused the hell out of it. So I didn't have good credit. So did I have that category in some sort of good fitness? No, of course not. I didn't. And I think for you guys to really get the holistic picture of my message, there's a ton of things that we're going to discuss tonight as well that'll be of benefit for some of the newer investors, some of the language that I throw out on the independent investor, the top three that I discuss all the time. And if you do not get these three, you're going to be somewhat lost. The first is a very, very common phrase, and that is tax protection. Okay. It's one that we can all abide by. If you start a Roth IRA, you know that you're tax protecting your dollars until you're 59 and a half, until you retire or continue to work. Those accounts will become eligible for withdrawal for contributions and capital gains. Okay, contributions after 5 years become eligible. I typically don't share that with investors because they look at it like a savings account, and invested dollars need to be looked at a lot more sacred than that. So any dollars that are contributed to against the $6,000 Roth IRA cap, you're achieving that tax protection that I feel like is so important. Now, the problem is if you go in with a financial planner, you're going to be seeking out that tax protection through a Roth IRA, which is the account that you seek out. The problem is if you attach it to a managed situation, you're going to be giving away your God-given right to that tax protection by providing the financial planners an ability to charge you annual fees, an ability to sell you products, i.e., mutual funds, to jam inside of your Roth IRA account, which consumes or erodes your profit that you're working so hard to tax protect. So the second terminology that we throw out there all the time is wealth preservation. This is one that I have coined on the Independent Investor channel, because the last one that I'm going to talk about is really the niche on the channel. You can find all kinds of information about financial security. There's 7,500 people watching the Ripple to $6 live stream that's going on right now on YouTube. And there's all of 43 people in here. That's no problem, because I know a couple of people are going to say, hey, you should come in. And I cordially invite you. Ryan's pretty down to earth. He aims the message at organizing your life. Okay. I mean, I've got this categorized into 16 different buckets where I put these ideas into. Now, I could write a book on each one of these categories. Water is a little bit more straightforward, but in the food category, just to contrast people's insistence upon restaurants as opposed to going out and buying groceries, that right there can really, it can inadvertently consume your income. And people inadvertently don't know this. And this is the first tier of the pyramid, guys, where we're looking to find those cost savings in the budget. Yes, but if you look at things holistically and you look at your ability to accomplish each one of these uh, 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 topics in your life, and again, your pyramid is special to you, however it is that you build it to make it make sense to you. What is it that you value? Okay. When I throw that up on the screen, I don't expect, and you guys can copy this if you want. This is just what I value. Now, do I value a car the same as the way I value family? Here's the car, here's the family up here. Do I value the car the same as the health and well-being? Do I value, the food segment here as easy as it is, and as much control as I have over that category, than my own personal fitness? Right. So this is just what's super important to me. Like I'm crazy about water. I'm just crazy about it. I'm extremely hard over for clean water. I just will not drink dirty water. It's a pet peeve of mine. If I have to, I'll take it with a lemon. But I typically am very, very hard over on making sure that the water that I consume, I put in my body, is of the purest form. I buy bottled water. I brew my coffee. I brew my tea, with clean water, and that's just what I value. It's one of my 16 pillars in this life to actually revolve around and help me stay within the swim lanes. I think the framework of the pyramid really does provide that boundary to say, look, where does restaurants fall within my pyramid? Well, they're not there, and I don't seek out. Um, I don't talk when Ben says we're talking water. Stay with me, man. It all comes full circle, man. It all does. Um, but when you're looking to holistically look at your life and put these things together, you can kind of sit back and say, wow, maybe water is not on my list. Maybe food is not something that I want to put on there. Maybe something else that I value is something that I want to add into my pyramid, man. But when you start to really put paper to pen and identify some of these things, it's very revolutionary with what you guys can actually accomplish in life, because you'll start to look at these categories and say, God dang, Ryan mentioned, the security category. He talked about home defense. He talked about safes. He talked about safe deposit box. He talked about safeguarding passwords over his account. He talked about fireproof document holders. Guys, I'm organized to a crazy T. And I can remember the day when I actually bought my first leather bound kind of, it was a credit card holder, checkbook. It was a leather bound checkbook. And it was the step in this right direction in starting to really organize my documents. And if you guys can say that you've got this licked, this is a big one, because if I looked at if I took a sample of 10 people out of the group here, I think probably 1 out of 10 would probably pass my scrutiny for what I would consider to be downright to the detail organization. And it's just that important. And I put that under the security umbrella to make sure that if I'm working super, super hard on one end of the spectrum, I've got multiple buckets. You guys know I work with about 20 different accounts underneath of my financial portfolio, from crypto to passive investing to active investing, single stock. Not a lot of commodity in my portfolio, but everything under the sun from there: cash, dividend paying stocks, collectibles, things like that. All that has to be safeguarded. It gives you peace of mind, because from Fight Club, the things that you own you too, right? You got to be kind of careful in that if you just start accumulating a bunch of crap, and a lot of people do this, man. Let's talk transportation for a sec. I drove down to Wilmington last year, North Carolina, and I can't tell you how many homes I drove by that had 9 cars, and I could tell every single one of them were all broken down in the front yard. Can somebody explain that to me? Like, I can understand like doubling and tripling and quadrupling down, I guess, if you feel like that's important. But can you give me one good reason? And you might sit here and say, well, if I need a part for one of the cars, I can go over and strip one of the parts out and fill it, fix it with the other one. It's like, all right, man, I guess that's some rationale, but good grief. How much can you beat a dead horse on the transportation category? The flip side of that are people who want to buy that Lamborghini, I guess, to only speak to what I consider to be a bottom tier type of category. That's why when I see beautiful cars on the road, and I don't know if somebody has gone out and paid 100. I saw one of the 2022 Corvettes today on the freeway on the way to the mall with the family today. I thought, man, there's $100,000 bill driving down the road, and I don't want to say that that's successful or not, because here's the thing, and I don't mean to be brash, but here's the thing: on the bottom tier, my thing is, does the car provide these strategic objectives? Is it economical? For me, Honda and Toyota. Okay, you can argue with me all you want. Is it dependable? Honda, Toyota. And is it affordable? Okay. The Honda definitely fits in the affordable category. Me personally, I just plussed up a Toyota Tacoma that I had for 15 years. I bought the same truck when I was a non-rate in the military, and I had it for 15 years. Just 3 years ago, I actually plussed up to something a little bit more in the luxury category. My 2019 Tacoma is badass, but here's the thing: I got so used to driving the old truck, I drive this new one, and it's like a dream vehicle. Does it meet any more of the benefit in the transportation category, getting me from point A to point B? Not really. It's more luxurious to get from A to B, but and that's what I say. I don't get totally excited when I see people who have been like, I'm buying a Lamborghini, I'm somehow a successful person. When in my case, right, your portfolio and your financial discipline, your ability to adhere to good credit discipline, your ability to get in and exercise every single day. Yeah, you might show me that beautiful car, that Lamborghini, but you might be a complete disaster. You might be spiritually unhealthy. You might never reach that top of that pyramid in your life. And that is a travesty when those people want to actually show off what it is they have. And for somebody like me, I don't mean to, again, belittle or downplay how awesome it would be, I guess, to have a Lamborghini. I guess I would never own one, never. I say that with full honesty, because again, the transportation category falls on that bottom tier for me, and it provides me that freedom and flexibility to move about, to my appointments, to my employment, to my coaching engagements, to do everything to drive to vacation, right? Those things, it really does connect the dots in way of the transportation piece for me. And there is an aspect of luxury to that. There really is. And it comes down to what I consider to be, for a lot of people, especially in this country, to be very, very lucky. Because yes, I've worked very, very hard, but there's a lot of people around the world who also work very, very hard, who do not have the opportunity that we have here in the United States, Northern America, Canada, some of the developed nations, especially in Europe, UK. Some of our patrons here from the international community can really acknowledge that. And when we look at our 16 attributes within our pyramid, I think sometimes it takes a few seconds just to sit back and take some stock in what it is that we have. It's super, super important, man. Yeah, Kevin's talking about some security incident, and that's the thing, man. It's really tough, when life does its deed on you. And these are some of the this is unfortunate, really. I can't say that I've been subject to any really large, a couple of credit card issues, but I don't think that there's anybody in here that's immune to what's going on right now with cyber hacks going on. The reason to protect your data, we're involved right now in a project campaign through the channel and through the network of channel creators, talking with Globex, providing those secure internet and messaging and email types of securing, because over the last 10, 15 years of the internet era, we've basically given away the farm. And now a lot of people are sewing that giveaway back and trying to recapture what a lot of us, I mean, I cringe all the time being as active on social media. 5 years ago, I was never this active on social media. But there's CrowdStrike in here. Alexa threw this. This is the best one for sure. This is a cloud internet secure cybersecurity, and I've owned it, and I've done really well with CrowdStrike. I'm just off of large cap growth right now, but it is the number one play as far as I'm concerned in cybersecurity. So if you're looking for some of those opportunities, you guys kind of know that I'm taking a little bit of a break from the portfolio. I'm doing enough to do nothing to get punished every single week. The market has not been kind to the I2, but nonetheless, my whole entire pyramid could actually implode upon itself. This could just disappear, and then this would just fall down right here, and I just wouldn't have any more money. And I could come on and do the portfolio reviews in like 6 seconds and be like, I have zero. I yet have in 25 years identified that as being even a remote possibility in financial markets. I do have a good significant amount of cash and some other collectibles that I've collected over the time to add to certain other categories. I invest every single day in myself at 5 o'clock in the gym, every single day. What does that have to do with my financial security? I don't know. I mean, if I'm not healthy enough to be around when I'm older to enjoy this, then what the hell are we doing? Well, you know, exercise is one of those things that is completely in our control. And it probably provides, I'll speak personally on exercise, it probably provides some of the biggest scare for the majority of the group. It certainly does for me. It certainly does. We have some experts in the group here who have got this category in diet and exercise licked. One of the first patrons here is Ashley, is in the group here. I'll actually cruise up and I'll give her moment in the sun. I'll give her the moment in the sun. She said it made my Friday because she thought I was on vacation. But when we have certain folks like this who are ability to act as life coaches for people and influence people's lives, I talk to people all the time. They're scared to death. They are scared to death. And if you guys believe me, here, just within the last 6 months, I've been talking pretty openly about going to the gym, and I don't take breaks anymore. A lot of people will be like, yeah, just do, 3, 4 days a week. It doesn't fit well with me. It has to be tailor made to your own program. But here's the thing. I was starting to get tired in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, and I'm like, yeah, God dang, man. I started to get so irritated, make a life change. And that life change was to get up at 5:10, get to the gym, get the workout done. Opened up time that I was missing in the afternoon to go because I like to work out for extended amounts of time. But the energy that it created in me for some reason, my physiological makeup allowed me to have more energy and it carries me throughout my day. That is the piece that you get addicted to. And if you would have asked me a year ago, hey Ryan, could you ever see yourself getting up early, going and hitting the gym every, I would have thought, "Yeah, you're crazy." I get the reaction from a lot of people. And a lot of people in the group, they would say, when was the last time you've actually tried to just go over to a gym or have access to a gym? Creating access is one thing, and just getting on the treadmill and just walking for 20 minutes, right? I think there's a lot of people here in the group that would be like, dang, Ryan, kind of scrutinizing me a little bit here. But I'm in no way in this department who's an expert. But it certainly is motivational when we know people in this community who out of my 16 pillars within my pyramid, we have experts that can provide that tutelage and on both fronts, dietary and physical fitness and exercise. Doesn't mean that you have to run 5 miles a day. I stopped running. I had to. I was taking on some pain in my knees. So I started doing the elliptical machine. It just fits with me. It's something that I enjoy, something that I look forward to. But man alive, it just speaks to the whole, you might just run yourself into the ground with your application. Thanks for being a guest for just a second, Ashley. And didn't mean to embarrass you, but I tell you, there are some good folks in this community that bring to the table a lot of different things. The 16 as a life coach, I better know what I'm talking about in each one of those capacities. And I focus on the money piece. That's just my thing. That's my thingy bobber. Okay. That's within my wheelhouse, but there's a lot of people in here that are experts in a lot of these different categories. They really are. And I think collectively as a community, it makes us very, very strong to come on and have these excellent people that are represented in the community here, to surround yourself with successful people. And successful people doesn't mean cookie cutter. It doesn't. It means that you are just your own personal badass. That's all. Just just your own personal badass. And you think, sit back and you think, when was the last time I focused in on some of this stuff? You know? And I think that's really some of the message, guys. For me, the top of the pyramid in personal actualization, for me, the independent investor channel, let me give you an elevator pitch. For me, I've done a lot of businesses. I used to sell knives. I used to do real estate, every real estate scam out there I was involved with. Thought for many times that I wanted to do this business or that. I was in Equinox for a while, selling water purifiers to people, never made a stinking dime. The independent investor channel, I was just talking to my CPA today. Yes, I have a CPA and I do have an LLC. This is a real business for me. And for me, man, it's not any more sweeter than it could be, man, being at the top of the pyramid, running a business that I love, engaging with people every single week with a community of patrons like yourselves who come in and they get a little inspiration. And make no mistake about it, guys, this project, being on vacation, yes, spending time with the family most of the time, coaching and influencing, successes at the job. When I do just find out about that, boom, I push right up to that top of the pyramid piece, and then I come back down into reality and I start focusing in on improving those other elements of my life. But that's just life. But this project, you guys wonder, man, why I do this so intimately and so intently. I was on vacation this week, but I actually threw down. I kept the streak alive with the I2. But this is that top of the pyramid for me, for a small moment to realize a small taste of success. And I don't make millions of dollars on this, but this is absolutely a successful project. And the success is measured in each and every one of yours involvement in identifying, to some degree, small or large, how you can improve upon those elements of your life. Be back with you in just a sec, guys. This success to me, man, is great. I'm humbled at you guys coming on and and sharing in this opportunity. I really am. I just thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Um, it's refreshing. I like the idea, and this I say it all the time because I think people get too self-centered and arrogant, and maybe there's some confidence certainly that exists around me. I exude confidence. Okay, if you hung out around me, I'm a motivational person. I really am. I'm not going to apologize for that. But I think all too often, man, influencers, they get so caught up in themselves that they believe that everything that they say is gospel. And I just don't believe that. I believe that it's very serious of a calling to put yourself in an opportunity where what you say has the ability to impact somebody, and you just have to make sure that that impact is felt well by people, and people really do feel motivated and especially inspired by your message. I know I do. It's inspirational to me. I don't gravitate to a lot of people anymore. I'm my best champion for motivation. I really am, and I tell you, if it's possible to get that for you guys, do it. Because again, if I'm focused in on my 16 items, I might take a little advice from Ashley, right? I might take a little tutelage or a little bit of motivation in some category or the next. I may kick a question into the Viper group. I may network a little bit to try to strengthen, my business engagements a little bit. But I tell you what, it's a constant evolution. It really is, and it's a lot of fun, man. It really is. Don't need to stress about this stuff. Where I see a lot of people is in their inability to identify those things within their pyramid to revolve around. And I think if they even did, they would have a hard time identifying them as positives. Because I tell you what, I work around some people that are very, very, they suffer from anxiety, and it's really unfortunate. It really is. Some of them need medication, and I don't mean that in a joking manner. It's just everything is always coming down on you, and life is not meant to be lived that way. Every second, every single day, every hour, everything that we do, everything, every life lesson that we have, every hard case that we have, every success that we have, it's all meant to something. It all happens for a reason. Just like I believe that this project is, there's a reason for it. And I hope in some capacity you guys can find that little bit of motivation to say, you know what, this is pretty awesome, man. It's changed my life a little bit. Alexa says no more boxing. I do mixed martial arts. Today was mixed martial arts today, so it was dirty boxing today actually. And I get to do the expanded workouts when I'm off. I'm actually on spring break now, so I'm actually doing 2.5 hour workouts. And you might think, wow, that's an awful lot. I do a fairly regimented routine. I don't take a lot of downtime. If you worked out with me in the gym, you would understand I take as much rest as I need, which is usually about 26 seconds in between repetitions, and I'm back at it again. I don't stop to smell the roses. It is not social hour for me. I've got Metallica today. I had Offspring in today at the gym. It's not social hour for me. I get it and get down. It's just that simple. It's my time, and it's an opportunity for me to be somewhat selfish and non-apologetic, man, and do that for yourself, man. If you need that, take it. He says, do you get to punch people in the face? No, I punch the bag. Never been in a fight. I'm not a fighter. I don't like fighting. I don't like any of that. However, I do love combat sports. I remember UFC number two, number three, sneaking it home. I was like 16 years old, and we got UFC in the video store, and I snuck it home, and I saw Hoist Gracie, and I was just like, "You got to be kidding me! This is insane." Needless to say, I probably should have taken up jiu-jitsu many, many moons ago. It spread like wildfire, and you never know who you're messing with. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, the art of throwing a punch is just amazing, and I don't do it to hurt people. No way. I would never do that. I do it for the fitness and to challenge myself. I do, but it's cool. Yeah, I do boxing. I keep it in my bag, and that's another funny thing to kind of mention. about people if they were going to go to the gym and they haven't been to the gym for a few years or whatever. See, I buy clothing specific for that. Do you? Right? I like to be comfortable. I've said this before. So it's like, how can I look at the exercise? Like for me, the ear pods, right? The Apple ear pods was a step up for me in my experience at the gym because I had one of those old iPods, the tiny little tabs that I had to sift through my shirt, tab it on the bottom of my shirt. It was cumbersome to do that, but that's what I had. I had the same 115 songs on a loop, that I'd go to the gym on. Now I've got access to 7,600 songs in my iPhone. iPhone 13 Pro or whatever it is, the Pro Max is what I got now. To treat myself a little bit of I too love. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, to go over there and to do that, the comfortable clothes that I wear, outlet clothes, you can pick it up on the cheap if you want, affordable and practical. These are the things under the clothing category. A lot of people go crazy, man. Some people, man, are like, they entertain me straight up with how incredible they are dressed. And there are certain people out there, man, they dress to the T and they are proud of it. They walk like it, they strut like it, and they want you to acknowledge that, man. But when I'm out in public, man, I typically look no more steps above what you see in front of you, really, because I just really don't care. And I will be that guy getting out of my Corvette, and my Birkenstocks. It might just be that I've left the gym. I'll go shopping and I'll forget to take off my bandana, my headband, because I to keep it out of my eyes. You know what I'm saying? And I've fine-tuned the workout a little bit to take a little bit more. I wear the sweatshirt when I'm on the elliptical. Allows me to keep the weight off a little bit more, manage my weight a little bit. Things like that. Something funny about the diet piece to it is when I'm at home, I have no problem adhering to that great diet. When I go on vacation, it all gets thrown out the window. You know what I'm saying? It's like I go to Jersey Mike's and I'm like, why don't you give me the giant thing? No, I'm on vacation. I can splurge a little bit. Did not work out a lick on vacation. I don't. I can't. I don't want to. I give myself that time. I slept in until 8 o'clock. Can you believe that? And then when I came back off of vacation, next morning, boom, I was in the gym at 05. Just to give you some insights on how I kind of look at taking that time to digress, moving into that rest and relaxation phase, but then actually missing getting back and being like, okay, I've done enough of this fat and happy crap. You know what I'm saying? Time to get back to business again because I owe it to myself to do that. But those spiritual breaks are really, really important, but affordable and practical on the clothing side. So I've declared many, many times I'm in the military. So 5 days a week, my clothing is already it's done for me. The shoes, the socks, the pants, the undershirt, the outer blouse that I wear, the hat, it's the same every single day. For you young people that have never looked into military service, I tell you what, a lot of the reason why, and a lot of people would come in and they're like, man, watch the I2. He's a great investor, which I am. I'm a great investor. No doubt about it. My application is second to none. I'm a holistic applicator. I apply my strategy to the masses. And the very wealth preservation piece that I talk about by lowering or eliminating fees, that'll save you hundreds of thousands of dollars over the long term anyway. So if you just catch that piece, you don't have to be a great investor. I mean, you can take the VTI to the farm with you. I mean, you'd be good to go. Very, very, very simple. But it's just one of those things that, you know, that's what I do. Ryan says best intro on YouTube. That is absolutely appreciated, my friend. I built that myself. Very cool. It's kind of to get people's attention and yell and scream at people. Let's cruise on down to the bottom here, man. Ben's in the house here, man. Ben's a veteran. All kinds of really, really cool perspectives, man. Really cool. Um, I would love to spar with you. I appreciate that, my friend. The wisdom that you could probably bring to the table, Jeremiah. I think you're 93, so you might give me a run for my money with your. He says this is the sweet science. That's very cool. I really appreciate you coming into the group, Jeremiah. Very, very cool, man. Very cool. You've got vitalogy down, my friend, which is a state of wisdom that I could only wish for in this life, my friend. And thank you for making your way in here. I really appreciate you. Very cool stuff, says the Carhartt Kings. Absolutely. I was a fisherman in Alaska, man. I know Carhartts. Grundens were my pick, and anybody who knows Extra Toughs, that you get a special place in my heart if you know what Extra Toughs are. The greatest boot. Anybody from Alaska, anybody from Alaska knows what Extra Toughs are. You wear them to the bar. Hmm. Haven't worn a lot of shoes out there that you could stand in a mud puddle all day and not get your feet wet. Extra Tufts will deliver for you. They come in a regular and an insulated version. Really good stuff. Rick, when are we going to take off here, man? Huh? I'm representing the impatient crowd here. The impatient crowd with the Hylian community here, man, for sure. What's the chat over in the Discord group, man? You should kick on after the live stream and talk to me, man, if you have the ability to. I dropped the link in here. I'd love to talk to you one of these evenings, man. Bring it home. Jump in, talk to me. Let me know what you know. It's been fairly dry on the landscape. The EV market is really taking a bath with the rest of the market. Small caps, especially rolling off fairly heavy here. And the market really, the consumer price index came out this week. It was the worst since 1983, I guess. So I think in a standalone, when you look at that, I think times have changed a lot with cost of goods and the cost to produce said goods, driving up the price of those goods, and incomes hopefully being a little bit higher when that comparison was made. So I don't necessarily look at that exclusively as, oh my God, the sky is falling type of a perspective. Might be some different schools of thought on that one for sure. But yeah, it'll be interesting to monitor this over the next couple of years. I'd love to see something shake loose with this opportunity that we're sitting on here. Then we'd be talking about maybe buying a cabin over there in the Shenandoah Valley, so I didn't have to go crawl all over a bunch of people to go swim in a swimming pool, right? I didn't have to sit with 20 other people in a hot tub. You know what I mean? Which is, like not very luxurious. Like if you have the ability to do such a thing, like my brother has his own hot tub, this is in the luxury category. Trust me, guys like myself who don't own a hot tub, we have to go on vacation to a resort, right? And guess what? I'm not the only one with that idea. There's a bunch of other people there with the same idea, but we make do with what we got. We sacrifice until we don't have to sacrifice anymore, man. So very cool stuff. Love the 10 minutes of equipment setup before 2 minutes. Yeah, no, I don't do a lot of that either. Some medicine ball training, some free weights, the bench press, absolutely. I do sit-ups, and I do the elliptical. That's pretty much my routine right there. And I love it. I love lifting. I love being in there. I love jamming to tunes, man. If I go to the gym and I don't have my music, which is rare, I don't do it. Um, I feel like not inspired. So it's really my time to let it rip, and I don't listen to the Beatles. Okay, I listen to like Alice in Chains, and I listen to, I told you, Metallica, Rammstein, Offspring, Def Leppard. I mean, we're talking about, some more hard hitting stuff, and that's just it. It calms me down. It calms me down, so I can get down and do what I got to do with pumping. I'd love to, man. Absolutely. That'd be great. I had a boxing coach actually pick me aside actually and show me the stance and show me the moves. Actually, he was a champion coach actually, and I was lucky enough to get with him over in the gym, and he showed me a few things. Man, actually helped me. But yeah, I'd love to. I'd be down. I'd throw down with anybody. I'm crazy. Absolutely. I'm a fighter on the inside. I just don't like. I don't see the point in fighting people. I almost witnessed a fight today at the mall, and I just don't understand. It was the second fight I almost witnessed this week. The first one was when I was on vacation, standing in line for the go karts, and it was two family members going at it, and it was like, geez, what's the world coming to, guys? Really? Jesus, I just don't get it. Too much anger. My focus isn't on proving people right, especially enough to go to fisticuffs with them. That's for sure. You get in my face and you start throwing whatever it is that you need to throw at me to make yourself feel better, chances are I'll probably look at the ground and I won't even acknowledge you're even there. Because in my mind, you're not. You're not. I'm too focused on my 16. I'm too focused on my 16, man. I don't have a lot of time to get sidetracked by drama. I just don't do that. Dan Fry is the man. Fantastic. Um, but the Black Album straight. The production of that album was really what set it apart. But for me, Master of Puppets was absolutely the key. That's right before the bass player died, and it was just such a transition when they moved to the new, when they moved to the new bass player on "And Justice for All." And that I wish they would remake that album because there's no bass on it at all. And then the Black Album was really just a culmination, but it was actually with the new bass player who's not with the band anymore. 𝗖𝐋𝐈𝖖𝐊 is with the band now, and he is phenomenal. The band sounds better now than they ever did before. 𝗖𝐋𝐈𝖖𝐊 really, he kind of is that culmination of that fourth band member. But yeah, pretty awesome stuff, man. I love it. Very cool stuff. Cruising up here, cruising through some comments, man. I didn't get to the portfolio reviews. I was down a few $1,000 week over week. I don't even want to do it tonight, guys. Please understand, it's no big deal. I found Ryan last year, account zero, now 15,000. That's what I'm talking about, man. And I told you, Jonathan, it's so amazing, man, to hear stuff like that. It is. Um, this is where how much better of a calling, man. For me, that's what it's about. And that's a large deal. And it was all you. Maybe you found it just a touch of inspiration. Cost me very little, if nothing, to give away that piece of inspiration. I can inspire you. I can inspire lots of people to do the very same thing that you did. I didn't do anything. You did it. You took the action. Okay. You can be inspired all the time. I talk to people who are inspired. Ryan, you're the man. I don't want to. This is badass. This is great. And they don't do a thing. They don't do it any. It's okay. It's all right. But for those people who want to take and change their lives and identify what it is in their lives as a priority, maybe stop worrying about 1,012 things and define 16 things for yourself that you just want to spend the majority of your time focusing in on. But these are the types of things that I continually do the message, and I don't think 60 minutes. I'm aggressive about this. When I shut it down at 60 minutes, I walk away, I chill out. I take my evening and I do what it is that I do with my downtime, because today was a very, very productive day. We won another contract for another rollout. I've been very, very light on content on the I2. I don't care. If you want to catch me, you got to come to the live stream. It's just that simple. I'm not going to apologize. I'm sorry. If you want the root of my message, come to the live stream and take it for 60 minutes. I don't take this time off. I don't. And again, for the 57 people who want to come in here and consume this message, no problem. In 5 years, in 10 years, when I'm a millionaire, a million and a half, 2 million, okay? And I share with you guys what I feel like is the culmination of a program that has been set in motion for decades, right? People are going to come in and they're going to say, God, I was here since the beginning. No, you weren't. You weren't here with the 57 devoted people, man, who were interested in changing their own lives, taking for themselves what it is that I talk about. Guys, I walk this stuff. I live these 16 every single day of my life. It has to be that in front of your face for you. It has to. I talk to people all the time, and they're seemingly in a fog. And sometimes I'm a little envious, because it must be nice to just go through life being so They're your head in the cloud. Calm, yes. Maybe I'm too intense. I don't know. I'm intense about life. I'm intense about pursuing success. I think something that I resonate with Ramsey is that if you can't live in this country and identify some of the things that I identify, I mean, how many people want to get a job? There's people who want to just circumvent around that 16, right? And they want to go right to the financial riches, and they want to go right to the spiritual actualization. That would be impossible for me. Impossible, because one of my second tier in my category of four is a job. It's one of those things that I share all the time as being one of the major contributors to my success, one of the major contributors to the stability of my program. And it's the common thread that I see in a lot of people in this community who have that common thread right there nailed down. They've they've done a career, they're at their beginning, middle, or end of their career, and they have net worth to show for it. It's one of those common threads that I identify in successful people. It is not those people that I meet and they're like, I retired at 30. I fired. Yeah. Are you happy? What what do you mean, Ryan? I don't know. I'm unhealthy. I don't know. I you know I haven't exercised for the last 6 years. I've developed many conditions, you know, and it's like, to what expense, man, are you looking to not pursue a holistic lifestyle? At what expense? I'm all for it if you can do it and get away with it and get lucky, I guess. But are you going to rely on luck? I can't teach luck. I can't. You can look at my pyramid, man. Look at it. Where in the heck is luck in this pyramid? I don't see it anywhere, right? Everything in this pyramid speaks to free will. It speaks to your God given talent and your mind to overcome barriers, right? And to pursue these things with ferocity. Now, does it mean that you have money to go buy a car at 16 years old? Maybe not. I paid $2,350 for my second vehicle. I was given my first vehicle. It was worth all of about $250. It was a Datsun F10, a Datsun F10. I skipped from first gear to third gear. Second gear didn't work. I watched the ground go by because the floorboard was so rusted out on the passenger side. I watched it go by. This is my first car. I could share with you what color it was, but it was camouflage. It didn't really have a color. It was kind of like an off copper green toward the back. It was ugly as sin. But man alive, for me, the ability to move from point A to point B when I was 16 years old was magical. And I've since moved up. My first Mustang 79 5.0, I paid $2,350 for that car. It's my hard-earned money. I earned it. I bought it myself. It was the hatchback 7950. Beautiful car. Wish I still had it. The first 50 Mustang. My third car was a Mustang 5.0 convertible. Okay. That was after I came back from Alaska. Success? No, it was stupid. It was stupid. But my point is, as you evolve through these different categories, guys, you acknowledge those little wins along the line. Now I'm on to, this is my fifth vehicle, this Toyota Tacoma that I have, 2019. It's a dream truck. It's a dream truck. And I talk about the culmination of buying the i2-mobile, the 2022, probably at the time 2025 Corvette. I don't know. That's my dream car. If I have it, I'll get it. It is just a car. It's not going to make me any happier. It'd be fun to drive. I'll share it with you guys if I'm ever lucky enough to have it. If I'm not, no problem. No problem, because my success is defined by the marked progress that I've made in certain categories when I benchmark it against the past, not the future, not the future. I look at my transportation category and I'm super proud of the progress that I can get into my vehicle, my 2019, and I can push the defrost button for my rear view mirrors. That's insane. My old truck didn't have that. My old truck didn't have Bluetooth. So I can get in with my iPhone, and I can actually listen to the music that I want in my truck now. Game over. I'm good. Why do you think I'm so happy all the time? It's because I take these small moments to acknowledge the what I haves instead of what I have not. Hmm. Yep. I'm very aware of my categories. I'm very aware. I'm aware of the definition that I surround in my categories. And until you can take and put these I'm going to try to share with the community a blank version of the pyramid that I've just shared with. This is mine. It's mine. You can have it if you want. Use it as a benchmark. If you find that something really doesn't jive and you're like, I don't understand the fuel category, you'll understand when you're on the side of the road without any fuel and no money to provide said fuel for the said vehicle that was going to get you to that job, and you couldn't make it to point B because you left point A and you weren't too sure if you had the money nor the fuel to get to B, but you embarked on that journey anyway, and it just didn't work out. Hmm. You ever went to the ATM and put that ATM in the slot and it said "Get lost, mother effer" on the ATM? You are a broke bastard. I've had it say that to me actually. It says it right on the screen. Get lost, you broke bastard. Hmm. We have too many advantages or luxuries that we take for granted in this life. We absolutely do. And the idea in honing in on your budget discipline, honing in on the pros and cons of having good credit. My 838 credit score is just sitting there. It is what it is. It's the byproduct of a well laid credit discipline. And could I do life coaching through the Independent Investor channel if I was sitting on a 430? I believe no. I believe no. I believe that that is a product of my discipline, and it speaks to my insistence upon getting my credit discipline in order. And I run a very aggressive credit program. Everything I buy is with credit. I take the points, I roll those points back as statement credits, and my debt to income ratio is zero. Zero. Where in this country we want to provide or suggest that a debt to income ratio of 20% is somehow healthy. And I just challenge that. Average household debt now is snuck up to 16,000 per household, and that is insecure debt, unsecured. Pretty sad. Being independent means a hell of a lot more than what you give it credit for. And now we're sneaking up in the 63 category here. There's about 1,000 people who catch this, and if you're still in the gallery here and you know somebody who might enjoy the message, invite them on. I actually observed the first statistics for March from YouTube uh, just a couple days ago, and I was actually I couldn't believe it. And it was that I went through the entire month of March and I gained zero subscribers. Zero. Zero. Do I throw in the towel? Do I surrender? Do people not like me? Jack Handy. People don't like me. Uh, I don't do this message to gain favor. I don't. If you don't like it, don't subscribe. And I actually looked at it and I thought, right on. We're right at that break point where I'm not having people find their way to the message because they're unsure or they're going to be sold on the message, and if they I can't sell them on the message, they're out. I have people here who want to be here. And the strongest referral that can be brought to the channel is one from somebody who has sat like Jonathan Rigetti, who has told me that started with zero and now is built up to 15,000. And I would say, John, you were probably had the potential to do it on your own. But if you found a little bit of spark of motivation on the I2, wonderful, wonderful. Pay that forward, bring somebody else on the channel, man. It's great. The message is open to young and old. It's open to all demographic. It's open to all socioeconomic classes. It is all open to all races, all creeds, all religious backgrounds. It's a beautiful topic. We do not discriminate to anybody. Financial stewardship It applies to anybody willing to take it on in their lives and apply it. The discipline that surrounds that financial health, that is the key. And that was the key message tonight of the message and the offering. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Every now and then I break down these a little bit more holistic types of application. Yeah, he says Stuart Smalley. I got that wrong. What did I say? Stuart Little? Stuart Smalley? Saturday Night Live? Guys, you old school guys, man. Hmm. For sure. Kevin says, "Don't quit." I just explained why it is that I do this project. I don't do it for anybody's approval. Um, I do it because on this project, I'm forward thinking and understanding and knowing where it is that I'll be in my future. And if that's what it takes to be more attractive to people on what it is going to truly motivate people, maybe it will be filming my white i2 Corvette. I don't know. People are motivated by different things. I don't know. People will be like, "Wow, that's a phenomenal car." I don't do that to people with the car. I don't know how they got it. I don't know if they got that money in dishonest ways and they're driving around a car to show off. I don't know. I don't put that much credence on the category unless it is earned in the right way, unless it is earned honestly. And the holistic approach to discipline in a lot of different ways. If I slack off in any one of my disciplines, then my pyramid suffers. It does. And you might think, wow, Ryan, that's kind of a stretch. No, it's not, man. All of these categories play into each other. They all contribute to that end, and they all work uphill. All of them. I'm always trying to achieve to that top end, and I'm not there all the time. I borrow little pieces of it, right? And then I come back down into my day-to-day operations, right? But those little moments that I have, boom, I seek up in there, right? Those little acknowledgments, those little wins, and they can come from any category, right? The promotion that I just got within the last 2 weeks, guys, you have no idea how motivated I am. I'm so fired up to get back up to New York City, the home of the independent investor channel. I'm so fired up, man. They recruited a winner. They knew they did for sure. But it's a lot of fun. But those little wins, those small acknowledgments for a few seconds, sneak right up into that self-actualization category, and then they retract again, and you come back to, okay, now I got to get to work, and now I've got to make this thing a reality for myself, right? And those things can come from any category. Okay, they can come from the family category, they can come from the financial category, right? How big is it going to be from the financial category when Hyliion does something other than go down for me, right? People say, well, you're a bad investor. You made an ill-timed buy. Now, I beg to differ. It's a small segment in my financial portfolio and health, right, that contributes to the potential for creating those pieces of acknowledgement to say, yeah, I saw something special and I persevered through the hard times where not a lot of people other than me and Rick will persevere through. And that's really just what separates the successful mindset from those people who don't take those few seconds to identify what in life is super important to them. And I encourage you to do so. I hope this message has inspired you guys to do just that. I want to wish you guys the best of the rest of the weekend, man. We will be back next Friday as well on the Fast to 60 Minutes on YouTube. Thank you so much for making your way in here and being part of this journey with me. We foot stomp this message every single week. It is that important to me because of our ability to empower one investor at a time, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you next Friday.